now we have heard so much about the product, the partner's experiences and everything. Now it's finally time to hear something from the customer, that if the customer is satisfied or not, and what experience they had with the Frappe community and the product. So would like to invite Mr. Sudipta from the SELCO team to share his feedback.
Okay, thank you. So I don't have a PPT, so I don't know what to do with my right hand, so I'll just keep it in my pocket. So yeah, I think Basavaraj was briefly talking about SELCO before. Couple of things, so I just thought I'll just give a brief about SELCO, and then I'll go into the implementation part of ERPNext in SELCO. So I am kind of biased towards much of the things what have been being talked here and what Frappe team represents and all in terms of philosophy, right? So I was very happy to hear empowerment, open source, affordability somewhere, and so on. So we come from, I am a solar company, so SELCO Solar Light Private Limited is a company which provide access to energy. And this access word is very, very key here, right? We are probably talking about access to technology or bridging a digital divide or whatever, right? So our job, our journey started in 1995. So that point in time, if you go back in 1995, 60% of India was not connected to the grid. So basically these are the people who didn't have access to electricity at that point in time. So what was the solution? Like grid was taking a lot of time, the transmission line takes time to go to the remotest part of the country. So the founders of SELCO, they thought that maybe solar energy is something which is very decentralized. Again, just focus on the not on the solar part, on the philosophy part of it, right? We are again talking about decentralization of power, decentralization of resources and so on and so forth. So solar energy fits that bill. It can be very small, 10 watt, 20 watt, say it can be whatever gigawatt or megawatt, it can be of any size, right? The original story of SELCO is when this founder, one Dr. Harish, he had gone for his PhD in Dominican Republic, and he found that very poor people there are using solar energy. This way back 1992, 93, around that time. The thing that person told Harish that the thing about solar energy, what he or she liked, was that sense of ownership of that. That it is, he is empowered, he can use the energy whenever he wants it to be, right? Most of us, by the way, none of us have that control over our electricity usage, right? If there is a shortage somewhere, what they will do, they will switch off Basavaraj's home in Bijapur, which is one of the poorest district in the state, right? So it is, if you are closer to the chief minister's residence, your power will be there. Like the last person who will be switched off will be those people, right? So there is a power dynamics very much inbuilt into this access world, right? So SELCO started from that. So we are a social enterprise. Again, all the challenges of should it be a for-profit, should it be a private limited company? That point in time they did a toss and they said, okay, chalo, private limited company, right? So we are a private limited company, but we are a social enterprise. If you walk into our office, the photograph Basavaraj was showing before, all of us look very like non-commercial NGO type of people, right? Don't go by dress. In Wipro also I used to give at the same thing. So all of us are from that background. But at the same time, we have a business model. We are a private limited company, we don't get grants. So we have to sell a system, solar system to get our money. That's how we do, right? But what we do essentially is, the question which is defining the principle of the company is for whom, right? We are doing a solar solutions, we are doing a technology for whom. So that question for us, the answer to that has been, we are trying to do it for the poorest of the poor, and we are trying to solve the energy access issue. We are not talking about climate change, ये सब बाद में आया, ठीक है? So we are not talking about climate change and all. We are talking in the context of people who don't have it, right? Now what does it entail? Like if you are talking in that context, what does it entail? So it entails that we are talking about a solar solution which is the cheapest one in our price list is around 15,000 rupees. And we are saying that the bottom of the bottomest of the pyramid should be able to afford it, right? So how do you do that? So then people talked about cash flow, like if you're payment should be matching your cash flow. And so there should be a bank financing. So fortunately, India has this rural banking structure which was ready to provide a bank loan for 5 years, for 10 years. So which means in the earlier days that you are spending 200 rupees or 500 rupees on kerosene, you can use that 500 rupees to pay the bank loan and own a solar system, right? And the world's first solar loan for a end customer was for a SELCO customer way back in 1996 or somewhere around that time, right? So these are the things. So now then the other question we were trying to answer that time was, should the product be cheap or should the product be affordable, right? And those are two different concepts when it comes to software also. Should we build a cheap solution or should we make it more affordable by different models are there, SaaS model is there or so many other models are there, right? So we are also trying to address those, and that's where the company stands. We are owned by 4 not-for-profits. It's again very interesting concept. I'm saying it out not to like talk about SELCO, but it's more like as a concept is very interesting. The company is a for-profit privately limited company, but owned by 4 not-for-profit, right? So the advantage of that, the shareholders come and ask us what the impact you have created, rather than how much is the profit you have generated, right? And those are two very different questions, and it defines the way we talk, way we plan our business plan and so on and so forth. One small example of that is like when you do the business plan, we first do the number of systems. We don't do the number of crores, right? And number of crores comes from the number of system, and the number of system is very important because that defines the more number of system, the less number of ticket size means you are reaching out to the lowest of the ladder, right? I can do a 1 megawatt system and do my revenue. I can also do few thousands of 100-watt system and do the same revenue, right? So those are the small things which makes us a social enterprise. Now coming back to the context of today, I think SELCO has been always been, because it's a very pioneering company in that sense, and also in that sense very cutting edge, because in 1995 there were only 2-3 solar companies. One Tata was there, one Shell was there, and probably one SELCO was there. So in that sense, in the mind, in the thought process has always been very modern in terms of everything we did. So there has always been this pressure that we should always be very modern, very cutting edge. Even today also everybody is saying already we are outdated, all ERP and all are outdated, kuch aur karo. Pata nahi wo kya karna hai, but kuch aur karna hai. So there has always been we have always attracted very bright minds from across the spectrum, okay. So a lot of people came in, processes are very robust, and ERP journey also people started experimenting with it, right? I hear the story that we have lost 50-60 lakhs, we gave it to somebody to develop it from scratch, then that person could not do it, we lost money and so on and so forth. Then we landed up using, initially there used to be some DOS package, and then Tally, we used to use Tally. So when like I came in from Wipro, so in 2011 or 12, so that point in time we were still using Tally ERP 9. I don't know why it was called ERP, but like Tally Accounting 9. He's from Tally and we have been talking quite a bit, but yes, sorry. No, so Tally ERP 9 was one which we were using that time in 2012. So I came in to do the process mapping. So interestingly, before we even started like looking into ERP, we did all the process mapping of SELCO. And before me, there was one more person, not before me, like he joined before me. So he came from Mindtree. So a lot of interesting people, right? So we did process mapping, and then we did an evaluation of different ERPs. That point in time, SAP, so everything, Microsoft, whatever that is called. And then there are so many, right? And then we got lost. So as usual, like we do so many other things that are always going on. So it's again, then Basavaraj was in the projects team that time, like selling solar solutions and so on. So he suddenly came back and said he wanted to do something, and he started this one. So there is this pre-Basavaraj and post-Basavaraj. So pre-Basavaraj, like Basavaraj and post-Basavaraj rather. So when he was doing, my job was very simple. I had to just say, yeah, you are doing a great job and do whatever you want. And once in a while you have to also say no, so that otherwise there is no reporting, right? So that happened, and he could like mostly like bring it to a very large extent to be almost like going live kind of thing. And then of course he moved on, and then we took over from there on. The main challenge was, see, there are two parts of the challenge in the organization. One part is where you are already using some kind of software, right? For the accounting, we are using Tally. The other part was rest of all the other processes were manual processes, right? Like Excel and email and so on and so forth. So the movement from manual to this is much simpler because there is no user bias for anything, right? The movement from Tally to the other one was slightly more complicated because one is, of course, the data migration has to be done, but more importantly, the user mindset migration was very, very difficult, right? People kept referring tallies, this tallies that, and this is not this and this is not that. So that took a lot of time. So we started with the ones which were not based on Tally, and that was very simple. So one of the reasons why we chose ERPNext was also because we have this unique mix. There are all these people, English speaking, IT background, so on, few group of people are there. Then we have this vast majority who can be BCom to anything from to no academic background to all kind of things, right? And we have a distributed architecture. We have one head office and there are 50, 60 offices are there. And so they are not from this IT background, right? So we thought we have to choose something which is where the learning curve will be very less. And it will not look so daunting and so this thing, right? So one of the reason, apart from the cost, which was huge, we didn't choose SAP and all, was because of that reason. We thought this is very simple. Even the look and feel of it is also very simple, and that's very important. Okay, so that was one reason why you chose that. And of course, the cost was like in the initial few, like till you went live and few years after that, we almost spent nothing except for our salaries, which was not much. So that much, right? So nothing more than that. And that was very attractive. And we are a social enterprise. We don't have huge amount of money to invest and all. And that's also against our philosophy that we should not spend because it's customers' money. If you save that, my end customer gets something which is more affordable, right? So from that point of view. So the first few things when I started working very closely with the ERPNext was one of the things was like the people themselves. I think we should, like people buy things not because they buy things, right? They buy things because they like you. And that's the only reason people buy. Like the poorest of the poor people, they pay us 50,000, 1 lakh rupees and buying things from SELCO. Why are they buying things? There is no business model. You cannot show it in Excel that you will earn money, you invest 1 lakh today and you will be like Mukesh Ambani tomorrow. It will not going to happen, right? They are only buying because the last guy is talking to you and you like that last guy. That's what it is, right? So ERPNext also what happened was, after when I was looking into it, I was finding it very challenging because we are not getting the right support. Then I of course reached out to Rishabh and all, and then somebody like Rohit, I keep telling that I don't know Rishabh has given him some award or not, but he should give. The reason why I stuck on to ERPNext was because Rohit was there, and that's a great comfort. Okay, somebody who has designed the system, part of the design team and all, and who is saying, don't worry, whatever goes wrong, I am there to take care of it, right? And that's enough. He has not taken care of everything, it's not possible, but that's enough. Just to make you feel that you are around when, and these are all complex systems, they are live systems. There are 50 branch offices and all billings used to happen end of the month. The performance will be, the server will be loaded here towards the last 5 days of the month. Rest of the 25 days it is somewhere there. Everything used to freeze. Nothing used to work, then stock valuation will not match, and there are so many things, right? Of course, things have improved much of it now, but I think those were the things which were not sure that as an organization can I invest myself into that, right? It's not about money only. I am when you are taking a solution like an MIS solution or ERP solution for the entire organization, it's a long-term marriage kind of decision, right? Like you are into it. You cannot change it so easily. Today, if it breaks down, I cannot change it overnight. My entire, all 600 people in the organization have got used to it, have been using it, data is in a certain format, and then so on and so forth, right? So we cannot change it so quickly. So I think that's where the channel, whatever whatever they're called, channel partners, or whatever partners maybe. And that's where I think you all come into picture that that to make that, and also it, because ERPNext is not, I don't know now how big it is as a brand in terms of, I am saying, like if someone you go and tell it's a Apple or it's a Tata, and then people say, oh, okay, so we know them quite well, right? So you don't have to do that extra leap of faith to invest into that, right? You automatically do that in a way, right? So I think it has probably the people who are new to this community, they will probably not able to appreciate that, and then they'll not kind of identify with that product, and then I think that's the difficult decision to make, and we are also struggling. So we almost took 3-4 years to even to decide where to put our effort into. But once you do that, one of the things which work is like you start identifying with the product. So I personally started identifying with the product. I am more from the functional side of it. I don't know anything of coding, but so I keep reading blogs, what you people write. We do, and most of the functional part of the deployment we do it ourselves. So we don't need anybody's help. We just go through the documents. Sometimes we struggle. Earlier, what used to happen is I used to get frustrated. We used to do X, Y, Z, 10 steps, and then 11 steps always used to break. Like something in the feature is not working in the way I wanted. Probably it would have worked for somebody else who knew how to make it work. So that's where it is. And that now I think much of the things have been quite stable now. Just one, many people talked about customization. I think the initial days when we met, I think Rishabh came down one time. We had asked about customization. He bluntly told, just try the vanilla version. He told in a way which was not convincing. So we went out and did customization, and all of them were not required. Like in hindsight, please advise your customers, whoever you are talking, don't do customization. There are 100 things which are inbuilt into the thing. And the common mistake what you do, like we are at 10. When you're using Tally accounting, we are at 10, right? And if you ask anybody in the organization at that point in time, everybody will say, I want 100, which is like out best of the world, which is like SAP plus Microsoft plus ERPNext plus everything, right? Nobody has it, and it's not required, and you can't reach that stage. So it is okay to go from 10 to 20 to 40 to 50 to 100. And once you know a product like such a vast platform, then you will find out way to kind of align to that also. And it is less costly and less time consuming and less learning for all of us. I think so. That's one, in hindsight, one experience is let's not do customization to begin with, not for a very long time. Most of the customization requests are not customization, they are just flexibility you want in the system, which is a great mistake. The first few years, first 6-8 months, we allowed negative stock, backdated billing, and so on and so forth. I was just talking to Tally friend also, and most of them are not required. People that point in time, they thought that that's how business works, and if it is not given, everything will collapse. But now that we don't have it, nobody even remembers it, that there is something called a negative stock, right? I think those are the things where this champion plus decision makers should facilitate, saying that we are sticking to this, and there will be some pain point initially to kind of transition that, but once you do that, I think that will be quite great. I don't know. So one thing I keep telling, like whenever once or twice only I spoke, I keep taking his name because it's good to take his name because he's important, right? But I have not spoken to him much. I don't know him much at all. But whenever I remember, I telling him that one of the things which I think is missing in this entire thing is nobody comes and talks to us. Like, of course, some nowadays one or two of your colleagues came and spoke, but not from the point of view of what next. I've been using it, I am a 10-year customer of ERPNext, right? What next, or should you do with the product? Like, of course, like if you have a lot of end-to-end passion and all, you will come to conference, you will learn, and that all will do. But there is no engagement to say that how are you evolving your business along with this product evolution, right? I think that can be a very interesting space where probably, I don't know, of course, like the resources involved and so on and so forth, but I think that will be very interesting to understand, and that also will probably give you newer problem statements. One is, of course, people who are coming new to you and you are getting from that, but I think the other part of this will be what happens to your matured customers. I am already started feeling that I am paying more now. I'm kind of joking, but that's what it is, right? Because what other value I am getting out of it? It's there. If I don't actively engage with the software now, I am not able to launch any new feature anymore, right? So that's one thing which probably can be taken up in a way. So the other part of it is like we have also developed an app, not we, like there's a partner who has developed that. So we have these technicians who go to very remote areas. So we wanted something on a mobile app which is offline, which is not connected to the internet, because those places internet is not there. And when they come in, they talk to ERPNext and they put the data back into the ERPNext server. So that's one of the app which is running on ERPNext. Rest of it, all this WhatsApp integration, we are trying to integrate our website, the company website directly to ERPNext. Some of the forms like complaint management, lead generation and so on and so forth, that we thought one interface will be the company website, and that will kind of create the backend doc types in ERPNext. So that also we are trying to do. But we don't contribute much in terms of coding and all, because we have very less resource in that. But I'm kind of invested in this idea that that it should be free and open source. It should be a community-based thing. It should be very decentralized. I think this is the true spirit of that, and that's one of the reasons we are completely invested into what you all are doing. So I think we are really grateful to you, and thank you for so many people coming to today and listening to so many people. I think that's a great thing. Thank you so much.